Yeah, so for you all struggling with how to use layers on IBISPAINT X, this video is for you. So you guys should stick around to the end of this video. I'm going to be pinpointing some certain functions of the layers and the layers that you should know. So first of all, we are starting off with the selection layer. The selection layer only works when you select an item. For instance, you use your lasso tool to select this particular sketch. It will reflect automatically on your selection layer. So the secondly, if you want to delete, you can just automatically clear it using the clear tool by the right, that which is the first option by the right hand side. So the next thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be I'm going to be showing you um how to add a reference or a picture by clicking the add layer, which is there. Just make sure you focus your attention on everything I'm pressing right now. I will be clicking on so many options over here. Also, you can add layer by clicking on the plus um, sign, and also by the side of the plus sign you can also add references. So when you add layer, you can still shift the layer and move it towards above and below, and also you can go to your color wheel and select a color, just in case you want to use the layer for painting. Make sure the layer is under your sketch. It also works the same as the other drawing apps such as um, Adobe Illustrator, Adobe Photoshop, and Autodesk Sketchbook, and Medibank. All the arrangement of the layer during the workflow um, s- is the same. You use the same experience on this particular drawing app. So the way you arrange your layers, in which the first layer should be the sketch, the second one should be that of the shading and the shadows, and then the third one should be, that's for now, because we are going to be adding more layers. So we are going to be adding for the hair too, and the hair layer should be under your, it should be under the sketch layer. So everything you're pretty much going to be adding should be under your sketch layer. It shouldn't be above your sketch layer unless you want it to cover the sketch. But if you want it below the sketch and still retain your sketch, you want your sketch to still show, it should always be under the sketch, not above the sketch. As you can see, when we move the layer to above the sketch, it's going to be covering our sketch, so we don't want that. What we need is for the sketch to stand out as well, so both of them will have a win-win. So if you are coloring the hair, it should be below your sketch, not above. So this is just one of some of the basic way on how to use layers on IBISPAINT X and also other drawing softwares. So also, if you want to add another layer, you we want to add another layer for shadows, you can also add, and make sure the layer is under your hair layer, and also make sure it's above the base color layer. So you can also rename the layer, just in case you get so much overwhelmed and confused with the layers. You can rename them. Just tap on the normal and it's going to give you an option to rename. So you can also rename the layers on other softwares as well, such as Procreate and Autodesk Sketchbook. So it should be the new layer should be, for the shadow, should be above your base color layer. So it shouldn't be below your base color layer. So when it's above your base color layer and you just want it to only affect the base color, you click on the clipping marks. click on the clipping marks, which is the clipping marks option, which is by the side. So it's going to only affect the base color layer. As you can see, I'm applying a solid paint, which only covers the area in which the base color is painted. So the clipping marks doesn't affect um the flat colors that aren't under it, and like immediately under it. For example, the clothes, the clipping marks doesn't affect the cloth at all. The clipping marks the only affects the color under it, not above it, and also not after the colors under it. It only affects the ones under it. So as you can see, when you apply it on that particular layer you've masked, you've clipped to the base color, it's going to just be sighted only on the base color. So yeah, the clipping marks option should be below that area, the root background, it should be directly below the clipping. So as you can see, I'm pressing it, it's going to be showing us the effect. When you click on the clipping marks, it's going to clip down. When you click on the clipping marks again, it's going to unclip it, so it's going to expose everything you've painted. But when you clip it back, it's going to clip um, on the base color layer, and whatever um, flat colors you've applied under below the new layer. So it mustn't be for the shadows. You can also do it for so many projects you want to make. Just in case you've been wondering how the clipping marks was, it only clips to the layer under it. It doesn't clip to with any other layer, either above or immediately after the one under it. So yeah, that's how it works. And also, there are blend modes. You can choose whichever blend modes you want. These are the options. So but it's normally on normal. So also there's a delete layer, just in case you want to delete any project. There's a delete layer there. Is going to totally delete the entire layer, the particular layer you've selected. Sorry, it's not going to delete the rest of the layers. It's only going to be affecting the particular layer you've selected or you are on. So it's going to affect the only layer you're on. And also, if when you double tap and you tap twice using your three fingers, you can undo and redo. When you use your two fingers, you can redo or undo. So that's how it works. And also there's a horizontally inversion. You can invert your image horizontally. You can also invert your image vertically. So just in case you are sketching, they are mostly used during sketching. So let me show you. When you click on the invert horizontally, it's going to invert your image into a horizontal form. As you can see, just in case you've been sketching and you've been thinking if whether your sketch is still in the right proportion, you can still rearrange, you can still recorrect. On a new version of this IBISPAINT X, there's an option by the left hand side which will help you with the liquifying. You can easily liquify and readjust the proportion in which you think is going off place. So if you think the eyes is going off place, or the head or the hair is going off place, you can just use a liquify tool, which is mostly at the section of the tools. You can just use it to shift and push around all those proportions. So yeah, you can also invert vertically. I don't think it's not that relevant to digital painting of portraits, but you can still use it. It depends on the kind of project you're working on. So yeah, there is a move layer. You're going to be moving the entire object that is on that particular layer. You can also you can also transform it. You can also use perspective to like drag it to whichever way you want to drag. So yeah, you can scale it down, you can scale it up. So this is just like another way to transform your sketch. Reduce the you can reduce the size, and so you can just play around with whatever that is on that particular layer. So up next is I think invert layer color. It's going to invert. It's mostly done on colors. When you're working on colors or paintings, it's going to invert that particular color to a certain color for you. So for instance, now we've applied a brownish color, so and we click on that invert, it's going to be inverting the reason why, yeah. So now it has inverted it to a blue color. So it's not a must that you must use it, but for those people that are interested in inverting colors, this will help you. This is the best option for you to use for your inverting of colors. So yeah, you can still invert colors, different diverse colors. Make sure the colors are on the same layer, then you click on the invert. When you click on the invert, it's going to invert the colors for you. So up next is visibility. That eye icon near your 100%, and near that one, the number one, it's a visibility icon which turns on the visibility of the object on that particular layer and turns it off if when you don't want to see a particular object on that particular layer. You can just turn it off. When you want to see it, you turn it on. So yeah, this is just the function of the visibility option, the visibility icon, which is the eye icon. And also there's the opacity. The opacity is the one I'm trying to moving around. When you move it to the left, it's going to reduce the weight, the thickness of the layer, and the opacity of the layer. When you increase it to the right, it's going to increase the thickness or opacity of the layer. So, and also there's an alpha lock near the clipping marks. Alpha lock helps you to lock the particular object that is on that layer, and also it gives you the access to apply an additional color to it. You can also use a fill tool to apply a solid color and a plain color to it. So also it's a good way of painting. You can also, just in case you want to paint over that particular layer, you can just put it on app lock so that it will be locked, and whatever thing you're painting will only be affected on that particular area. Not It's not going to be going outrageous. It's not going to be going out of place, out of that particular area. So it's just going to fill up that particular silhouette in which is existing on that layer. So yeah, the next thing we're going to be looking now is the next thing we're going to be looking at now is I think we are going to be looking at clear layer. We've already seen the clear layer, which is the first option by the right hand side. So we can just click on the clear layer to clear the entire layer, the entire object on the layer. So you can click on the import. Also, it's going to import from photo library. You're going to select whatever reference you want to select, and you can also it's going to even ask you questions on how to convert the extract the line drawing, which is not necessary. You can just simply trace instead of you to allow the app to invert it for extract the line out, because it's not going to be perfect, although. So it's not that necessary, but you can try it out. So I don't think it's necessary. So up next is the inversion. You can invert it to horizontally, vertically. The canvas, you can just be moving around the canvas while sketching. So we already know this function. So also, I think there's another option by this side, by the right hand side, in which it gives us a different options which are clear white grayscale, so they are it's going to invert your colored reference into black and white, or monochrome, as you may call it. So, and also the option by the right hand side also is to select the opacity. You can select the opacity you want to use the reference for. So whatever as I've said, um at first, the selection tool only works when you've selected a particular object on the app, so it's going to be appearing on the selection layer. When you want to deselect or you want to clear, just go to the layer, then clear it. So there is a rename layer. Rename layer gives you access to rename the layer, and you can change it to either references. You can change it to a shading layer. So just to like avoid confusion, you can just easily rename every layer, and to make it in order for you to have a fast workflow. And also, if you are, just in case you have been struggling with layers, it's going to just help you to to be at ease in working with layers. Renaming them, so you can save files also. Save layer files as transparent. So when you click on the save layer as transparent, it's going to save this particular picture, this particular Bruno's picture. I don't know, I've not watched the movie yet, but I think his name is called Bruno. So yeah, this particular Bruno picture will be saved as a PNG, in which it's going to be transparent. It's going to be transparent. So yeah, I think this is what you should know about using the layers on IBISPAINT X. I don't know, if you have any question, you can drop it down below so that I can assist you, and I'll be answering your questions. So also you can also change the background to be transparent. You can see I'm just switching the options of the backgrounds. Still by the right hand side, of the layers, downwards. So you can still change the background to be transparent, just in case you want to make your project a PNG which is having a transparent background, without having a background. Especially those using a vector project, doing a vector project, so they can just do that by clicking on the transparency. So thanks for watching. If you have any question, drop it down below. See you in my next video. Bye.